You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, I'm Les Brown, and I have a special guest today. But before I introduce my special guest, I've got to introduce the Emmy Award winner, and that is Lauren Hudson. How are you? An Emmy Award winning reporter that really had some incredible moments. I mean, she was in broadcasting on television in Detroit, Michigan. How you doing, beautiful one?
Oh, well, I'll take that. Thank you so much. Great to be with you, Les.
Thank you. And listen, it's better to be seen than to be viewed.
I'm telling you.
And we have Andrea Mason. And Andrea Mason, she's an accountability coach. Hello, Andrea.
Hello, Dr. Brown. Hello, Lauren. How are you doing? It's an honor, privilege to be here.
It's great to have
Well,
you.
yeah, I just feel we're kindred spirits because I am adopted as well. I want to ask you, Andrea, you have a very interesting story that you're sharing with people as a speaker, as an accountability coach, and helping people to create a shift in how they see themselves. Share with us some background and information on you, please.
Absolutely. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrea Mason. I was born under the war-torn drug zone era at its prime during the cartel of Colombia, South America. My parents weren't able to care for themselves, let alone me. So they put me up for adoption. And at 11 pounds, at 11 months old, I was brought to the Americas into the loving arms of my parents. And here I am, a living testimony today.
I want you to share with us the work that you're doing and explain to people the kind of services that you're providing for people as an accountability coach.
Absolutely. As an accountability coach, we all need some motivation, accountability, and responsibility to allow us to move further. When we have those doubts, when we have those concerns about if we are on the right path. And as an accountability coach, I don't dictate, I don't lecture. I walk beside you and enlighten within that spark that you already have. And as my mentor, Dr. Les Brown, I encourage you to step into your greatness.
What made you decide to be an accountability coach? What happened to you in your life that you knew that you had some lessons to share and help other people with?
Absolutely. Great question. So as I was younger, because I was of Latina descent and my parents were American, I got bullied and I was abused. I didn't look like my parents. I didn't sound like my parents, but I had to work 10 times harder just to get by within my family. I'll never forget the moment where I was at a function in my community and some young children, kids can be cruel, said, "You don't look like your parents." I said, "Well, I was adopted." They said, "Your parents didn't love you? Well, how are you going to move on in your life?" So that's when I decided to make the pivotal change to be the face of change of mental health and go from victim to victorious.
Talk about that journey, though, growing up. That was when you were a little younger.
Yes.
But what are some of the things that you focused on to make that change, to make that pivot?
Absolutely. Some of the things that I focused on was self-awareness, mind over matter, making an investment in yourself, not only financially, but also as instilling in your heart. Dr. Brown had said it best. When we are younger, we don't know where we're going. We have doubts. It's difficult. We're fear of failing. And I say when we are younger, our story is told to us. But at one point, and at what point do we take the pen in our own hand? So I made the journey after being bullied and always trying to fit that missing piece in as an adoptee, as standing out and not being accepted by the world, that I was going to create my own identity through life's adversities.
When you think about the challenge, and I like to speak in terms of mind over mind rather than mind over matter, and refer to me as Les as opposed to Dr. Brown. Some people just tuning in said, "Oh, he's a doctor now." I do have several honorary doctorates. But when you think about overcoming being stigmatized, being bullied, all the things that you had experienced that developed in you a sense of awareness and a commitment to live your life differently. Talk about what it took for you to do that.
Absolutely. So what it took for doing that was facing a lot of obstacles, believing in myself. I had to go against the grain. People were naysaying and telling me not to do this because you don't have a degree, you don't have any public speaking, you always worked in behind the scenes. And I decided that I was going to make it my mission. I was going to prove them wrong, not only for themselves, for them, but for myself. I found the spark within that I was brought here for a mission and message. So I incurred discipline, dedication, structure, as well as planning, because in order for you to have a solid foundation, you have to remember where you came from, your morals, ethics, and values. Integrity and authenticity will bring you so much further, along with creativity, as opposed to following the rules, because it's not a cookie cutter life. Everybody experiences the book of life different. It's a matter of when you're ready to turn the page or stay in the stage that you're currently in.
Talk a little bit more about how you created that turning point. Did you move away from that environment, or you changed your environment within that environment? How did you make that change?
One of the pivotal moments of making that change was, unfortunately, when I lost my mother in 2007. I had my number one hero, my angel, in my corner at all times that instilled belief in with me. And when she passed on, I didn't think I could go on. So it had carried on for some time over the course of 9 years. I just put my head down, went into tunnel vision, and grown. But then I realized what was happening. I was deteriorating inside. And it brought me to the hospital, to the ICU unit, where I was on my quality of life bed, if you will, in hindsight, to speak of positivity. And I remember that this wasn't the life I wanted to lead. Because she's not here physically, she's still here with instilling my heart, and her name, Victoria, that I decided that I was going to make this loss, this lesson, turn into my fuel to fail forward and move forward in her legacy of love.
So that's the name of your book, right? Victim to Victorious. Is that how you came up with the name of your book?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yes, that is how it came to it, because I just become victorious. Everything that I did, every failure in class, on the field, and I had two outlets that I, deterred to when I was getting bullied or abused. That of the universal language of music, where I learned to play the piano at age 4, and soccer as an athlete to propel my emotions and behaviors on the field, not only to take the aggression out in a respectful manner, but in order to have teamwork, camaraderie, like-minded individuals of your tribe, your village surrounding you and supporting you.
That sense of mission that you had, being singly focused during this time where we are in what is called the distraction economy. The world is very distracting. What do you say to people not to get caught up in all the stuff that's around them, and to be singly focused on living a purpose-driven life?
Excellent question. It is not easy. However, to be unplugged is to be I would say, probably influenced. Everybody, external influences, media and society, are always trying to look to the left or the right, but you have to have a clear vision. It's just like being a pilot on a plane. If you don't have a destination, you're just flying aimlessly, as one of the motivational speakers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, states. And what I've found was, okay, who am I going to be? What is my mission? What is my message? Because you know what? We only have one life, and every day we live it to the fullest. And if you're not doing that, then you're merely existing.
You talk about the importance of developing a plan of action. What was your plan of action?
So my plan of action, once the world actually had shut down or changed, for a better term, I didn't know what to do. I decided, what was I going to do with my life? Here I have degrees and credentials in social work and psychology to understand the cultural diversities of life, psychology to understand the science behind it. And I've been servicing individuals wholeheartedly for employers. So I decided to take my toolbox and enhance the quality of my life and put it to action, put it into planning a life according to me. And that's when I developed my coaching and business.
When you think about so many people there that are feeling hopeless, lives have been disrupted by the pandemic, has been disrupted by artificial intelligence. We're feeling a constant sense of alertness. I was listening to the news where some states are authorizing and licensing teachers and giving them a $10,000 stipend to carry a gun into the classroom. How do you advise people not to buy into the negative and stay focused, keeping the main thing the main thing?
Absolutely. Great question. Well, it goes to the mantra that I live by: follow your heart, not the herd nor the hurt. For success and joyfulness are on the other side. Because if we are following somebody else, it's one thing to be coached, mentored, trained, and understand the industry or the dream or the path less traveled that you're walking towards. However, we are all individual human beings. It's the areas of improvement and the areas of strength that we find in one another. But again, it really comes to the innate of the alignment of the mind and the heart. Does this feel right? Does this align with my morals, ethics, and values? And it's okay to agree to disagree, but it's another question to conform out of fear. You have your own mind. You have your own experiences. Anything that you've gone through gives you the certification and the qualification and permission to help others overcome and achieve it too. So follow your heart. It's your life. Live it on your terms and be a service to others, because that's the greatest gift, is the reward of being of service to others.
I'm going to borrow something you just said. You just ran through it. Follow your heart, not the herd or your hurt. Come
Or
on
you're
now.
hurt. Or you're hurt.
Yes, I'm going to give you credit for it 3 times. Okay.
Thank
At
you.
most,
Yes.
at most 3 times. You talk about pressing play on our lives. Help us press play on our lives and living according to what we want.
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, I was an athlete and I'm a former musician. I'm a composer. I just listen to something on the music, whether it's Beethoven or Tupac, and I could play it on the piano. But it's about pressing play, taking action. We have choices in our life to be proactive, inactive, or just stay stagnant and watch the world go by. But if we're pressing play, you have that sense of contribution, that sense of high frequency, eligibility to partake and control and care for your own life. It starts with you. Your number one asset is your health. And without it, you're not here. Believe me, I know it. I've lived it. So if you look at life as a game, and others have said this before, I believe Les has said it as well. You can either be a player on the field or on the sideline. Which one is it? You can be a somebody or a nobody. But if you're playing the game, not only are you a team player, but you're a contributor to the actions you decide and choose in life.
Talk about the services that you have. Now, you offer this. You're very inspiring, and you help inspire and empower others through a business.
Yes, absolutely. So I do individual coaching, group coaching, professional speaking, and I've actually now opened it up to the world of having Unleashing the Champion Within podcast, where I spotlight individuals such as both honorary people such as yourselves on this platform. We have a voice. I want to be that change that, our rank is by choice sometimes. Our status is created, but we all have value. And what I've started to do once a month also is bring the world together. I've shared platforms with panelists of kings, queens, ambassadors, global elitists, and bringing it to the community of those in up and coming developing countries, because that's where I was from. I was an orphan. I was during the cartel in Colombia. So now I'm bringing those people that they could have difficulty to reach and meet them with the audiences who I provide support and put them on a live platform so they have access, so they remember where they came from and where they started.
Especially needed at a time like this, right, Les?
Yes, absolutely. How do people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So they can get in touch with me at andreamasons.com, which is my website. It's plural because somebody took Andrea Mason, and I can be found on all media platforms as well. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I have over 1,000 videos because I'm hungry, Mr. Brown. I have been going since I graduated, doing videos for everyone on every single topic, as well as the release of my book, Being Transparent, Being Vulnerable, and Sharing My Story with the world.
So what can they expect from your book? The name of your book again is?
Yes. So here it is. I want to make sure I have it. It's Victim to Victorious, in honor of my mom, Victoria. And there's a picture of my parents and I. And spoiler alert, this wonderful gentleman has done the forward for my book. Thank you, Les, for doing that. And it's just a guideline. It shares the ups and downs, the vulnerable times, the most personal times. But what was amazing, it was closure. It was realizing that I'm myself and I'm happy and I wouldn't change it because it created me to be the woman before you. And and then if you follow the index of the book, that's also an opportunity of service I provide by walking through those steps of each titled chapter.
Wow. Andrea Mason, wow. From victim to be victorious. She is a force of good to be reckoned with. Please reach out to her. You have something special, Andrea. You have greatness in you. Lauren Hudson, thank you so very much for sharing this interview. And we're going to be working with you in the future and supporting the projects that you're doing, holding people accountable to a higher standard. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.